A lot of people like modding their car, but don't really have the money for it. Rather than going to all your neighbors like,
I am once again asking for your financial support.
you can do a little DIY work instead. And I don't mean like a DIY bore your own cylinders type of thing, because next time you start that thing up, it probably won't go too well. Today, I've got 7 of the best DIY projects you can do to your car to make it look better and be more enjoyable to drive. Let's get into it. Real quick before I get into these, I know a lot of people will think it's a dumb idea to make any of these yourself instead of just spending the money for them. And they might be like, that's trash, why would you bolt something like that on your car? It's not functional, that's sus. But if you own something like a C7 Corvette or really anything above $30,000 or $40,000, yeah, I wouldn't recommend doing any of these because you should have a little extra cash for quality stuff that's made for the car.
Hold on. This whole operation was your idea.
I'd say these projects are perfect for anyone with a car that was like $10,000 or less, maybe before around 2010, and for anyone who feels like adding something cool to their car and taking on a new project. Also, I've got Amazon links in the description to most of the parts you need for any of these, so check those out if you need anything. Without further ado, the first DIY mod for today is a rear diffuser. This is actually one I've done with a friend of mine for an S197 Mustang. We got the idea from someone who built and sold S197 diffusers like this on Instagram. He did a good job of making them, and a lot of people were happy when they got it, but when I saw the diffuser, my first thought was,
how hard can that be?
if your rear bumper's not flat or there's already an extra trim piece on the bottom of it, then it might not be as easy to mount, but making it was actually really easy, and obviously it didn't cost a lot to finish, which is always a win.
Come on, I'm broke, baby. I ain't got no money.
You could do it in a way more calculated way than we did, but we took a piece of cardboard, found how far under the car it should go for mounting, traced a few inches away from the bumper, made sure it was symmetrical, decided where we wanted the fins and how big they should be, and then made them out of the cardboard to finish the whole mock-up. Then we went to a scrap metal place, bought a 3/8 inch thick sheet of aluminum, and cut out the pieces based on the mock-up. To mount the vents to the main part, we used small right-angle brackets close to the front where nobody would see them and added a very little bit of JB Weld between the fins and the main part. That wasn't really for the integrity of the whole thing because I wouldn't trust JB Weld that much, but it was to make sure they wouldn't rattle around. As long as you can mount it, now you've got a rear diffuser looking however you want for less than 50 bucks.
I see this as an absolute win.
The next mod is a front splitter. This one's pretty similar to the rear diffuser, but I've got to admit, I haven't made a front splitter before.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
I'd imagine, though, that actually building the splitter would be easier than the diffuser, but mounting it would probably be more difficult to really make it look right. You'd also probably want a bigger sheet of material since it has to basically go the whole width of the car and needs to go far enough back that it can mount to a strong place. Keep in mind when you mount it that bolting it all to the bumper means if the splitter hits or gets caught on something, then the bumper is going to take that full force. So is it really a good idea to rely on just the bumper?
No.
I've mostly seen people make this out of ABS plastic or aluminum. I just wouldn't make it out of wood because hopefully we've all seen why that doesn't work. Back to the things I have built before though, another DIY project is building an exhaust cutout. You may be thinking, oh, you can buy these for like 50 bucks on Amazon and it just bolts on, right?
No way. We got you. Not a chance.
As far as I know, and granted, I'm a little bit of an idiot sometimes, most of the cutouts for sale below like 150 or 200 bucks have mostly bad reviews, and it's not uncommon for the electronics to fail. I mean, think about it. The valve motor and wiring heat up and cool down from the exhaust over and over again, and it has to go through all the rain and snow you might drive in, so it can't really be that cheap. The way I see it, if you could build one of these yourself and use something like a throttle cable instead of the electronics, maybe temporarily, then it's not like it's really gonna break, and if it does, it'll be easy to fix. Even still, you can just buy the valves online, and if you really want to get janky with it or save every penny, measure the diameter you want for the exit and head to a junkyard. Then, and this is the part I bet will really get some of you, get an old throttle body for the valve.
Oh! Ew! Dude! What the fuck?
Really though, besides the extra material on a throttle body, it's really just a valve to stop or let air go through it, and if nobody's gonna see it, who really cares? Next up is side skirts. Build-wise, these are probably really similar to the front splitter, although they should be even easier to mount. It'll be a little harder finding the material as long as you'd need, but you wouldn't have to be as concerned with them hitting something on the ground like with the splitter. As long as you mount either one the right way though, there's really nothing to worry about.
Yeah, I mean, It's not too bad. I mean, it should be okay. I'm not too worried about it, really. Don't worry about it. I'm not worried at all.
You could still go with aluminum on these, but I'd personally stick to ABS plastic just because of passengers getting in and out of the car. Especially if you use a thinner metal, you don't really want to have to listen to every time someone swings their leg out a little too close to the car. The third to last project is a cold air intake. This one's definitely the most sus one to do in my opinion. I think building DIY cosmetic stuff is fine as long as it won't fall off, isn't sharp, and in the case of the cutout, won't be shooting hot air on anything important or flammable, like your gas tank. When it comes to going through the engine though, for some reason to me, I think it's worth it to buy the part unless you really know what you're doing. Regardless, most of the cold air intakes below like $250 are just a performance air filter connected to a pipe. So these aren't really too crazy, but I personally just wouldn't do it. If this is something you want to do though, you can buy performance air filters at AutoZone, find the curved piping you need from somewhere else, and then you just have to find a way to fit it together. The second to last mod for today is carbon fiber skinning your steering wheel, or really any other pieces. Although I haven't done any real carbon fibering, not a word, but we'll just go with it, I guess, I was really close to buying the materials I needed to do this myself last summer. I think with everything priced out, it was going to cost me around $80 or $100 for my steering wheel for all the materials I need, including the carbon fiber weave, 2-part epoxy, some extra adhesive for the small areas, and the micro suede or leather material I was considering. I realize $100 still isn't super cheap considering there's a ton of work that goes into carbon fiber skinning. You've also got to make sure you don't let anything fall on it, because if you put in hours and hours of work to this, and then you look to see the finished product and it's got bumps and hairs all under the top coat, you'd probably be like,
my disappointment is immeasurable, and my day is ruined.
And for the final mod today, we have the most innocent one, and it's window and light tinting. Although there's definitely plenty of ways you can window or light tint the wrong way, this is definitely the most innocent project here you can do, because if you mess it up, you can just take the film off and try again. I have seen memes of people using spray paint to tint stuff, but I wouldn't recommend that at all, because you want to make sure you can remove this easily, so you can actually see stuff. With the film though, the only thing that I can think of potentially going really wrong is if water gets into the buttons on the door while you're installing the tint, or if you have to remove the tint and you use a tool that scratches up your window. Even if you check to make sure whatever you're using isn't actually scratching the window, look from every angle and keep checking, because there's nothing worse than thinking you're in the clear, and then once you do that final wipe down, you step back and your window looks like a cutting board. I haven't done any window tinting myself, but you can buy window tint with high ratings for pretty cheap on Amazon, and I think all you need to install it is a spray bottle with soapy water, a squeegee, and a few towels. You can also sometimes buy pre-cut pieces from certain companies. If you do plan on trying this though, definitely do more research, because what I say might be wrong, and whoever's watching this and has done it before might be thinking,
first of all, you're stupid.
Let me know in the comments what you guys think of these mods and DIY car projects in general. Like I said, I don't think I'd build my own stuff for anything past like $30,000 or $40,000, but other than that, I really enjoy doing a little bit of designing and manufacturing for stuff like this. Also, let me know if you've done any of these or if you're thinking of doing any of them after this video. If you're new to the channel, I upload American car news and content like this every week. If there's something you want to see or a question you have about anything, leave a comment below or shoot me a DM on Instagram. As always, thank you all very much for watching. I really appreciate you guys. I'll see you all next week. Have a great day.